No Mercy is almost upon us, everybody. And okay, let's be honest. Why does it seem like No Mercy seems to be now the new pay-per-view where they bring out their big guns, even though they could save it for WrestleMania? Okay, so remember last year's No Mercy? Everyone considers that to be SmackDown Live's best pay-per-view. And while TLC and the other ones were good, it started a gradual decline when Jinder Mahal was running for WWE Champion. So let's get right into it. The Miz versus Jason Jordan was added essentially at the last minute because, oh god, the Intercontinental Championship was sidelined at SummerSlam. We need to put the Intercontinental Championship on the show. Even Miz acknowledged this problem, and he hasn't really had a feud with anybody after Jason Jordan and the SummerSlam match that happened. Like, originally, this match was rumored to be happening at SummerSlam, and there would have been a story there, but it seemed more like a taking of subtle shots at Kurt Angle. So I'm wondering, are we going to see The Miz versus Kurt Angle next year? Since it's been said that Kurt Angle hopes to get in the ring before the end of this year, though really, reality-wise, it's most likely next year. So Miz is going to go ahead and defend his Intercontinental Championship against Jason Jordan, who has to prove to the critics that he is not just the son of Kurt Angle, even though everyone knows that he's not, for a variety of reasons. Mostly because this is just a story and no one's really falling for it. Like, it didn't work when they did the McMahon illegitimate child storyline. It's not going to work here. So Jason Jordan has a lot of pressure on him in the both storyline and in the real and outside the company, since fans are starting to reject him more and more. Now he's getting tepid reactions, and nothing really seemed to be going for him on that, especially his interesting changing every week. So it's curious to know, is Jason Jordan going to get the win here? Because this is a long-term storyline they've been going with. And so far, Jason Jordan's been 2 successful matches have been against John Cena and Roman Reigns, which were both losses, but they were still great matches. But really, Jason Jordan hasn't had any story progression until, like, on the final Raw before No Mercy, where he's expressing his frustrations to Kurt, hinting at the turn to the dark side. Yeah, they're probably going to turn him heel. So, it's curious as to know what they're going to do with him. And is he going to win the Intercontinental Championship? I have no idea. The Miz is more entertaining as Intercontinental Champion, though, of course, I would love to see his explosive reaction on Raw Talk when he loses it, most likely. Since, according to the formula of WWE, whoever wins and dominates on the final Raw of pay-per-view, before a pay-per-view, the face or the underdog shall win. Yeah, that rarely happens when it doesn't work, but mostly that's the formula they go with. So, now we get to Alexa Bliss versus Sasha Banks versus Nia Jax versus Emma versus Surprise Return Bayley. Now, this was originally going to be Alexa Bliss versus Sasha Banks as a rematch for what happened on Raw, where Alexa Bliss defeated Sasha Banks for the women's title. Yeah, they're doing hot potato season again. I wouldn't be surprised if they do it again afterwards. And Emma has had her own storyline, like she's mostly been being humiliated for expressing her frustrations on Twitter, even though she has every right to be frustrated because she's been screwed over by management. Kevin Dunn! But yeah, it's curious to know. And Nia Jax has I'm still surprised that they're letting Nia Jax still be given this big push, despite the fact that on several occasions she's accidentally injured somebody. Like, Emma had an eye injury for a couple of weeks. Sasha Banks nearly got her back busted again. Let's see. Bayley got her shoulder torn. Got a shoulder injury. So, yeah. All 3 of those competitors have beef with Nia Jax. So, if they don't address that in the match, that's going to be a lost opportunity there. And Alexa Bliss and the Nia Jax storyline, okay, it could have been awesome. That would have been great. Alexa Bliss manipulating Nia Jax to keep her status. they were going with that, but then they screwed it up because, you know, we can't have good things anymore. And Emma, after she had been officially added to the match, she just got treated as an afterthought. And then it got reported that the only reason Emma's in this match is because she needs to take the fall. Not any big storyline, no big epic payoff for her. No, because she's not Alexa Bliss, Sasha Banks, Bayley, or Nia Jax, she has to take the fall. That is the saddest reason to come up. That is, like, what? Like, I'm pretty sure Emma wishes she was released from her contract if this is how you're treating her. And the fact that they're trying to dismiss that she didn't start the women's revolution, the Divas Revolution, and the women's evolution, that's kind of absurd to deny that, since, you know, no one probably would have cared about starting to give Divas a chance if Emma and Paige didn't steal the show at NXT Arrival. And then Emma and the Evolution gimmick they were doing for a bit. So, why are they trying so badly to remove that from history? Oh, because Paige's relationship with Alberto Del Rio. Okay. Even though Paige has nothing to do with Del Rio, except for recent issues I will not get into. So, and Paige has recently been, is back at the Performance Center training for a return. So, are they building this up to Emma versus Paige? Because I'll be all for that. And also, Emma had a great theme song going when she was running for heel, for most popular heel. So, why would they change something that wasn't needed to be changed? They changed their entrance theme twice. And everyone bats an eye wondering why. Nothing was wrong with the other entrance. It sounded like the face version, yet with an edge to be a heel. And Bayley, she was literally added at the last minute. Now, it doesn't bother me as much as it probably should, because Bayley was supposed to face Alexa Bliss at SummerSlam and most likely win. So it makes sense if they acknowledge it. But if WWE doesn't acknowledge it, I wouldn't be surprised. Then I'll complain about it in the Thoughts on No Mercy video. And I'm expecting Alexa Bliss to retain because, okay, Emma on the Final Raw, she wasn't even there. She didn't show up at all. She gets mentioned about ranting on Twitter on a post that says today, but it's said at 6:04 p.m. What? And Emma got added at around 8:30ish. Yeah, you might need to correct the Twitter page writing you're doing. So Emma's there to take the fall. I'd be surprised if Emma wins the match. She's the underdog in this whole feud. Bayley isn't. In fact, I was expecting Bayley to turn heel, but as we know, Dunn and Vince hates our guts. So we can't have that. Now let's get to what probably was the most confusing build-up in the entire program to No Mercy is Neville versus Enzo Amore. They have a confrontation on 205 Live. Enzo Amore makes his debut on the Cruiserweight division segments. And Enzo requested that he be put in the Cruiserweights after his feud with Big Cass ended prematurely. And then Enzo tries to be like Eddie Guerrero, which no, that's never gonna work. Like, if Enzo was a heel, then that would make sense. But from what we have gathered from Enzo's character, he can get away with being a sexual harasser to Lana, and Rusev can be victimized saying, "Oh, how dare you want to defend your wife's honor? Such a bully." Yeah, I still hate that storyline. It's the second worst storyline for Rusev. Lana, Dolph Ziggler, and Summer Rae's storyline they had with him, that was the worst one of his career. It made Clone Wars and Twilight look prestigious. Mostly Clone Wars. Twilight sucks. So, yeah. So you'd be expecting after Enzo wins his opportunity after defeating Alexander, Cindric Alexander, Grand Metalik, Brian Kendrick, and Tony Nese, you would expect, oh, well, they're clearly going to do something with this. This has to come up with something. No. Instead, Enzo, for weeks and weeks and weeks, just solidifies that he should be a heel and not a good guy, because he goes ahead and insults Miz and Maurice's pregnancy announcement that Maurice is expecting a child. Congratulations, by the way. And now they can legitimately claim that John Cena and Nikki Bella will never have that, because John Cena forced her, on at least on Total Divas' perspective at least, that she was forced to freeze her eggs. Yeah, that's what I heard. I'd never watched the show, but if this is technically true and this was based off a real thing, then wow, Cena, you're kind of a dick. So, yeah. Enzo just gets beaten up, and then he mocks Maurice's unborn child by saying, "Who's your daddy?" And I'm like, okay, are we supposed to cheer for him? Like, nothing really makes sense for him. Like, is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? Is he trying to be in the between area? Because it's not working on all fronts. Like, he could thrive being a heel, and Miz has been confusing as well. I didn't get into this on the Miz and Jason Jordan part, but Miz has been confusing. One minute he's a good guy spelling truths about stuff, and then the next thing you know, he acts like a heel. Like, when he called out John Cena and Roman Reigns for having so many moments in such little time, whereas guys have to take for years to get themselves to have moments in wrestling, and everyone wonders why is he demonized for that comment. And then he calls out Enzo Amore for his backstage attitude and his over-the-top personality he likes to act backstage, and everyone loves that. And I'm like, how is he a heel? Wait, shouldn't Enzo be the heel and shouldn't Miz be the face? Because they're doing everything, because Miz does everything a face would do. And then immediately afterwards he has to go back into heel camouflage. So, okay, I get Miz's face run failed when they turned him face, but they could just have him spout backstage stuff about Cena, about Reigns and whatnot, and acknowledge issues and show his passion, and not just be a generic good guy. And strip everything that made The Miz The Miz. And Neville, he just shows up with this smirk on his face and just laughs maniacally. And I'm wondering, anything else? No attacks, no beat-ups, no promos? Nothing? Okay. So, Neville and Enzo, yeah, this feud has sucked. Like, WWE, despite them hating Enzo's guts, because Enzo has been beaten to a pulp for weeks, by Neville, by Braun Strowman on the final Raw, by Miz, and has only done one victory, done like 2 victories during this entire feud, and it wasn't even against Neville. And WWE hates Enzo Amore, yet they're saying reportedly that, oh, we're going to build 205 Live around him. You know, when I hear that people have heat backstage, they would be punished. But this is a confusing way of punishing somebody. We're going to punish you, Enzo Amore. We're going to reward you by being the face of 205 Live. Though, really, that's kind of a punishment to all the cruiserweights, since he's not technically not a good wrestler. He's good as a manager, but as a wrestler, that's left to debate. Yeah, Neville and Enzo Amore, they're not going to steal the show. They might be the worst match of the night. As much as Neville will try to make this a good match, yeah, I don't see that working. Now let's get to what really should not be continuing, in my opinion. Finn Balor versus Bray Wyatt. And it's not going to be the Demon King Finn Balor. It's just going to be regular Finn Balor versus Bray Wyatt. Okay, at the very least, they should have made this no DQ. to at least add something interesting since their single matches were not really good. So Bray Wyatt cost Finn Balor the Intercontinental Championship opportunity, and eliminates him in the Battle Royal, and then he just spouts more philosophical stuff that makes next to no sense, and you don't feel any tension or weight because he always loses his frickin' fuse. So, yeah, and Finn Balor, he just spouts philosophical stories that actually sound interesting, but at the same time, you're working with a guy who can't be, who's not allowed to be himself. Pretty certain it's because he was created by Dusty Rhodes, and therefore he's automatically a target on Vince's head. Yeah, I really. Why do you think I'm happy that Vince was beaten to a pulp by Kevin Owens out of all people? Like, granted, I'll say I hope he's okay, but when I see him get beat up by Kevin Owens, I'm just reminded that, yeah, this is the same guy that screwed so many NXT superstars because he didn't create them. I have daddy issues. I hate wrestling in general, and I'm going to build my company and call it Sports Entertainment. I still have that conspiracy theory on that. Have you seen my talk with Alexander the Great, how WWE acknowledged that Vince wanted to be a wrestler and his dad told him not to? I just started thinking to myself, is that why he hates the word wrestling? Because he didn't get to be that? Because if that's true, Vince, you are the saddest, most pettiest fucking person I've ever had the pleasure of seeing on television. So, yeah. And Hulk Hogan. Oh boy. Let's just say this. I hate Hulk Hogan. No, correction. I hate Tony Bollea. Because of for a variety of reasons. And for his recent comments about a tragedy that recently happened in Florida. And calling everyone who's suffering there crybabies. And then saying he's praying for them even though he has millions of dollars and can do something about it. But yeah, moving on. I got lost on track. Bray Wyatt, Finn Balor, they should have made this a no DQ match because at least that would have been interesting. In fact, the most interesting thing in the feud isn't Finn Balor and Bray Wyatt. It's Bray Wyatt and Goldust. Because Bray Wyatt fights Goldust, wipes his makeup paint off, and then Goldust comes out as Dustin Rhodes and fights Bray Wyatt. And I'm like, why isn't this not the feud? Like, granted, the matches will most likely suck because Goldust isn't allowed to be using DDP yoga as far as I know. But I'm like, wait, why isn't this the feud? I'm like, it gives Bray Wyatt something to do and actually gives Goldust some memorable motivation. Hey, maybe they can use it for the feud at Starrcade. If they actually go with this, since Starrcade's coming back as a live event show that could be broadcast on the WWE Network. So, yeah, I'm like, this feud isn't really Finn Balor versus Bray Wyatt, it's just there. Now let's get to Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins of the Broken Shield versus The Bar for the Raw Tag Team Championship. Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins and The Bar had a hell of a match at SummerSlam. I was wondering, how are they going to top this one? And also, the most confusing thing about this whole build-up is, why is the club involved? Like, it just looks like the club is going to be involved, but at the same time they're not. So why isn't this a triple threat tag team match for the Raw tag team titles? And they gave it away on Raw. In fact, they have been getting so involved that it actually looks like it's supposed to be a triple threat tag team match. And going on a brief tangent, why do they try and make the triple threat tag team rule so off for me? Like, I know they did this back then, but even then I'm like, what? Can't they just like have 3 guys in one ring and then they could do the tag system, but have one member of each team get involved in the ring? That would be more interesting than just, oh, the guy could tag in the other team for some strange reason, even though they realistically shouldn't be doing that. So yeah, one tag team's out and the other two are fighting, and the tag team that's left out has to wait till they get tagged in by their opponents. Still don't get it. So yeah, I'm also curious as to know why is Cesaro and Sheamus doing the fusion dance from Dragon Ball Z. That's actually kind of funny. I just hope there's not a beach ball involved in this pay-per-view match, because, though, of course, at the same time, it would be awesome if Cesaro destroyed it. But, yeah, I'm like, wait, why is Cesaro a heel? Like, everyone loves him. No one cares about Sheamus as much as they used to, but everyone loves Cesaro. Oh, that's why. That's right. He's considered boring by the established guys of Vince McMahon because he's a wrestler, not a sports entertainer. So, yeah, anyways. I'm pretty certain this has the chance to steal the show, but there are two matches that stop it from happening. The first one is John Cena versus Roman Reigns. You see, this feud has gotten extremely personal between John Cena and Roman Reigns. In fact, you can almost say it looks real. Even though they keep saying it's all scripted, at the same time, I'm like, but who wrote it? Like, there's no way Vince on Earth would want to write something based off real life stuff that happened behind the scenes. So did John Cena write this? Because they can't say scripted, but they don't want to reveal who it is that came up with all this. So, yeah, John Cena's taken, throughout this entire few, shots at Roman Reigns, referencing his drug policy suspension, saying that he's not going to get past him like he's a drug test. Yeah. Let's see. Roman Reigns is taking shots, trying to call out Cena as a hypocrite. That finally happened. And also established the one major problem with this whole storyline. Cena just screams hypocrisy. Like, John Cena keeps saying Roman Reigns is the guy protected, and yet, wait, weren't you protected a lot by Vince? When you were the blue chip collar guy, and you were just early in your run as the face that runs the place? So what's so different here? Like, everything John Cena was saying was like, hypocrite, hypocrite, hypocrite. In fact, even though you, quote, apologized, you still was part-timing before you had made that apology about The Rock and him, about The Rock and John Cena's personal issues on Talking Smack, so no one would believe you. But, yeah. John Cena's storyline and promos, while they have beaten Reigns for weeks and weeks and weeks, it compromised hypocrisy. And I was waiting for Roman Reigns to reference something that John Cena actually did. And Roman Reigns finally did that, but sadly, it wasn't the guy I was hoping for. You see, for weeks I was hoping he would name drop the Nexus, because everyone remembers the Nexus, I hope at least, because of what Cena did to them, especially since they were the main focus in the storyline, while the guy that they did mention was a lackey for The Miz. And he's a guy that Roman Reigns said was a lot like Cena, but Cena screwed him over backstage. Alex Riley. Now, people were wondering, what did they mean by that? What happened? Oh, remember how John Cena likes to tout he has hustle loyalty to respect? And all for anti-bullying stuff? Yeah, it's been reported numerous times in the past that John Cena has screwed Alex Riley over, bullied him backstage because he's better because Alex Riley has potential, could overthrow his position. Management liked him, but since John Cena didn't, and since he has the final say pretty much, since he's Hulk Hogan 2.0, he gets to say, he's not ready, screw him over, and send him to NXT. Yeah, yeah, when Roman Reigns name dropped that, a lot of people on the internet were like, oh, he did not just say that. Well, he did. And by God, that was awesome. Because I, as a hardcore fan, know what he's talking about. I forgot about it because Alex Riley hasn't been talked about a lot as much as he used to. But with this, I'm pretty sure they're going to start talking about him again. And a lot of people were like, so are they acknowledging that Cena bullied Alex Riley backstage? And then Roman Reigns finally took shots at Cena, and coincidentally it's the same show that Cena's not in, where he calls out Cena being a hypocritical liar and pointing out how he called out The Rock for leaving and going to Hollywood, and Cena's doing the exact same thing, and Roman Reigns does the same thing, saying, see you Sunday, movie star. Yeah, so... yeah, it looks like WWE's trying to get so much. In fact, Roman Reigns even said about Cena's Hollywood status, saying, I know a guy. And everyone thought, well, who does he mean? And I'm like, did everyone forget that he's related to The Rock to an extent? He's cousins with The Rock? Really? Like, even hardcore fans seemingly forgot that for a bit. For a moment, except 2015 should have been the eye-opening moment that they should have remembered. But yeah, John Cena and Roman Reigns. I seriously hope they try and kill each other in this match. Not real life kill, but like they're literally going to try and kill each other in this matchup. Going to be a bloodfest without the actual blood, since PG rating, and we got to get the children. And Roman Reigns is most likely going to come out on top, since John Cena is said to be leaving again soon. Like, he's the part-timer Hollywood movie star that he is, and a liar, hypocritically. He goes ahead, goes to Hollywood, then goes back to SmackDown, and beats Jinder Mahal, the modern-day Maharaja. Yeah, we're going to get 17-time world champion, unfortunately, so... yeah, also, Roman Reigns sure took shots at Michael Bay as well. That I would have called that a victory if he had taken a shot that John Cena's breakout role is going to be a Michael Bay movie. And everyone knows Michael Bay's movies are, especially the Bayformer saga, aren't really that good. And a complete bastardization of the Transformers universe. So... yeah, this is gonna be... a lot of people actually didn't want to see this match. I was one of the few that was somewhat for it. I was against it because at the time they would have gotten a level of heat back with the people. Like, normally they would expect one guy to get most cheers. Like, when they do a popular guy versus the most hated guy, if it's polar opposite day, the legend would get cheered, and they would expect a 50-50. John Cena and Roman Reigns, if it's done in the right place, and probably will since this is a Staples Center in California, they're going to get 100% heat. Yeah, one of the big WrestleMania dream matches is a heat fest. So that's going to be interesting. So now let's get to the main event. The biggest brawl that could most likely last only, 10 minutes. Brock Lesnar with Paul Heyman versus Braun Strowman for the WWE Universal Championship. Okay. Did Vince not write for Braun Strowman? Because I have to believe Vince had no say with Braun Strowman's character. Because they did everything right with Braun Strowman. They made him a threat. They made him dominant. And I even was hoping when Brock Lesnar and him were fighting, Braun Strowman would beat up Brock Lesnar, step on his chest with his foot, and hold the title up, and then just place it on his chest and just tap it on and saying, "Oh, keep it warm for me." And I'm like, oh my god, they actually did that? Oh god. Okay. I call it now. Vince did not write that part. He did not have any role in that segment. I refuse to believe he had a role in that segment. Though, of course, at the same time, Braun Strowman is everything Vince wants. That isn't Roman Reigns or John Cena yet. But at the same time, he is a heel. So at the same time, and so is Brock Lesnar. Yeah, they're once again going with the heel versus heel main event. So, yeah, Brock Lesnar has been on the proverbial ass kicking he's been getting from Braun Strowman. And honestly, I really hope Braun Strowman wins. I know that's most likely never going to happen because it's been penciled in that Brock versus Roman is going to be the main event of WrestleMania 34 next year. But I really hope that this whole build-up has convinced someone backstage to say, you know what, let's give it to Braun Strowman. He's a full-time version of Brock Lesnar that we should get. He has everything Brock Lesnar has, except he's full-time. I am hoping that Braun Strowman gets the victory. In fact, there's been debate regarding what's going to happen. Are they going to end it with a disqualification for Braun to keep him strong? But Paul Heyman is saying, no, that's a stupid idea. But at the same time, they don't want Braun to lose clean to Brock Lesnar. And I'm like, just let Braun win. Just change the plan of WrestleMania. You're still months away. Just make it Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman. That is a better matchup for me. And plus, there's a bigger story there. There's no active redemption for Roman Reigns since he didn't really lose to Brock Lesnar and he didn't really defeat Brock Lesnar. He lost to Seth Rollins. So shouldn't that be the storyline going on? But that's beside the point. Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns, they have the story. They have the vendetta against one another. And the attempted murder cases. But, yeah. Why not just have that be the main event of WrestleMania 34? Not Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns 2. I'm not saying they can't do a good match. I'm just saying, storyline-wise and potential-wise, Braun Strowman is the better fit. So, I really hope Braun Strowman wins at No Mercy this Sunday. It's going to be an awesome match, though at the same time, it's going to probably be small because Brock Lesnar doesn't like to work long matches unless there's multiple guys and he can take like 10 minutes break. Yeah, no one calls him out for that. Oh, he's part-time and he's not Roman Reigns. Therefore, it is perfectly okay that he takes some time off. That he takes a break during the matches. Yeah. That was a horrible accent, but like, well, what I was trying to say, but yeah. Roman Reigns gets accused of sleeping during his matches because Stone Cold says so. But when Brock Lesnar leaves and is out of the match for like God knows how much, oh, that's perfectly alright. Remember his triple threat match with Seth Rollins and John Cena? He was out for like half of the match. And then came back in suplexing people and win. No one bats an eye to that. In fact, everyone praises Brock Lesnar saying, yeah, that's your best performance yet. Lying on the floor, acting all injured, and then coming back at the speed of lightning. Wait. So, yeah, Braun Strowman, I really hope he wins on Sunday. And it's going to be a hell of a matchup, a very destructive matchup. And it's been said that they want to keep Braun Strowman in the main event scene, so let's hope that this leads to him winning the Universal Championship. I would love to see that. So, those were my thoughts on the WWE No Mercy 2017 build-up. This was Neo Reality Entertainment. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and donate. Stay tuned for more.